is Martha Milner, and I want to talk to you for a couple of minutes here about why I think that working at Walt Disney World is the place we all should aspire to be. So I want to start off with exactly that. Disney and Walt Disney and the visionary that he was. What an exciting place to be able to work with somebody in an atmosphere where everybody is just a visionary. But the man himself started with a vision, and look at what he has created. So, you know, just like he says, if you can dream it, you can do it. So always remember that the whole thing was started with a dream and a mouse. How cool is that? I heard once that Walt Disney, when he was worked for the American Red Cross in World War I, would sit there and write and put out with his imagination and his visions down on a piece of paper. Little did he know what those visions would soon become. So, if I had to look at a place that I want to work, besides a place that's fun to work at, I want certain values. And the values for this company, they're going to include their core values, which is innovation. What a better place to be a product specialist is something that has always on the cutting edge. Quality. Everything, down to the minuscule detail, is always about quality. No cutting corners there. Community. Walt Disney has always been one to, the Disney company in large, always been one to give back to their community, to make sure they're involved. Storytelling. Who tells the best stories? Seen any of those movies? What story is not meant to be told? But not only is it in their movies, but it is also when you go to any one of their office buildings, their theme parks, anything that is run and owned by the Disney company, it's their storytelling behind it. Optimism. I personally really think that looking at things like that silver lining, always looking at the better, the good, not dwelling on the negative. And decency. Always having that extra something. So when I talk about innovation, just a couple of things that I really just wanted to point out as we're looking at this timeline. From 1964, when Walt Disney presented the premiere of the Carousel of Progress at the World's Fair. It was amazing, it was innovative, it was everything and more. The details that went through the next century and the progression of. In 1966, he had already had plans for Epcot, which was the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Now that's not what his vision is, not 100% what Epcot became, but it was a representation of that and of his dream. And then it goes into talking from Disney World opening in 1971 all the way through 2019, which brought us Galaxy's Edge right before COVID. And you know what? It had everything that any Star Wars fan expected and more, beyond anybody's wildest dreams. Why not work for some place like that? Well, if innovation isn't your thing, what about quality? Their customer service, top notch. You're never going to, no matter where you come from, what walk of life, they are always on top of their customer service throughout the company, their parks, etc. Safety, they never cut corners when it comes to the safety for their employees as well as for their guests. Their products, how many have you, from merchandise, from ears to stuffed animals, clothing, movies, everything. Training. They're known throughout the industry for their training. They don't leave, they don't cut corners on their training either. It's top-notch quality training. And the atmosphere. I call Disney my happy place. Ever having a bad moment, all I have to do is go there. Just the ambiance and the atmosphere alone screams Disney. It's one of a kind, and it makes all of us feel at home. I want to talk a little bit about working for them, other things that they represent, which is community. They're one of the biggest donations, charitable donations, from Make-A-Wish Foundation to numerous others. They have volunteer ears program. Now, unless you work for Disney, you may not know this, but did you know that Disney will actually pay you to volunteer? So if you volunteer for whether it's your child's school or any charity, they actually put a dollar value and will actually write a check to that charity company in your name for the hours that you provide to that company or to that charity. Environment. They're very conscious of the environment and how it affects. They're very environmental conscious. So whether it be from walking through Animal Kingdom to having the paper straws to the recycling program, those are just a couple of things. They're solar. If you were to fly above just Disney World itself, you would see fields and fields of solar panels, all to help reduce their carbon footprint. And then conservation. I just had mentioned, we have Animal Kingdom, just that in itself, to be able to help with those endangered species and some of the actual how to rise the numbers through their rehabilitation and getting them back from being endangered. Storytelling, well, just from the screen alone, we've seen all the stories that they tell. And whenever you walk through their parks or their businesses or through their offices, stories are always told, and they're told the best. Optimism, well, as he said himself, I always like to look at the optimistic side of life, but I'm realistic enough to know that life is a complex matter. But no matter what, there's always something good. And there's nothing like working for a company that is optimistic, that isn't negative, that's always there to go an extra mile to make you smile. No matter how mundane your job may be, always try to make it extra special for their people. Well, decency. Well, Disney has always been one that has taken social issues and been able to embrace them. They do it in such a Disney and magical way, while they're still keeping it very wholesome films. Even when social, that is not necessarily a social acceptance for everyone, they put their touch in there to show their appreciation, their understanding, their support, with still keeping the film for those that may not agree. Respectful in all languages. All over the world, everybody knows of Disney's values and how they treat people from every walk of life. Right down to the way, when you walk through Disney, the way they wave, the way they point, all of that to embrace different cultures and languages and so forth. And then again, we went to the social acceptance. which we were talking about a little bit earlier. They have benefits. Their benefits are amazing. Place where not only, hey, you get to get into a theme park for as long as you live for the rest of your life, you and your family, for free, for the most magical place on earth. But their 401ks and the volunteer hours and the training and the tuition reimbursement and the merchandise and the retirement, so many benefits. I can't even begin to tell you the details of every single one of them. So don't you want to be part of the magic? To be able to go in and make a difference in everybody's life and make a difference in your own. Feel good about what you do and who you work for. So be part and make that difference. Go apply at Walt Disney, at Disney Company. You'll never be disappointed.